Welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl Lolo. Today I will be combining some locks. I've combined locks before. The reason why I combined locks before was because I thought my roots were thinning. In the perimeter of my head, this is one I combined, let's see. I combined it probably a year ago now, and I combined them on either side of my head in the same spot, right? So those are the ones that I already combined, and I thought that they were thinning. As you see here, this part, these two locks as separates are more thin than when I combined it. So when I combined it, it did get thicker, but it's because I started using a new method when I combined them to maintain my locks, which you can find in a tab right here, and it's braiding my new growth into my locks. If you're watching this video because you're wondering if you need to combine your locks because they are thinning, I would be aware of this thing called part to lock ratio. So I first heard of this from Digital Loctician, and she's a loctician in real life, but she makes a lot of educational videos. When I watched her video, she was talking about the fact that some people's locks are thinner than the size of their part. So if I could give you an example, this part right here is relatively a lot thinner than, for example, so the locks in the back of my head are the thickest. For example, this part right here, it's a thicker section. So because it's a thicker section, then it's a thicker lock, right? However, sometimes even if the part itself is thick and it's a wide part, the lock will be very thin. That means that there's something with the foundation of the locks. Combining your locks wouldn't make it more thick. It would just make the foundation weaker, because when you combine your locks, you're putting two locks into one lock. So the lock itself will be heavier on one part. So I hope that made sense. And when I was thinking about that made me think about my part to lock ratio and the foundation of my lock since I started doing my braiding method of braiding my new growth into my lock. So ever since I started doing that, my part to lock ratio, the foundation of it got stronger. So that made me think that, oh, it's actually like, it could work for me to combine more of my locks. It would just make more sense to have less locks. Think about if you are someone who retwists your locks, right? Would it take more time to retwist 100 locks? Or would it take more time to retwist 70 locks? Well, if you have to retwist each individual lock probably takes like a minute each. Then would you rather take 100 minutes or would you rather take 70 minutes to do your hair? So I figured like the less locks I have, the less time my maintenance would be, especially as my hair gets longer, and my hair grows pretty fast. So I'm gonna combine my locks at the root by crocheting one into the other, you'll see it, and then I'll two-strand twist them, and then I'll use thread. I have this thread, I think my mom got it from the beauty supply store. This is a type of thread that people use to sew they weave. I started off with 74 locks, and then when I combined these two babies in the front, now I currently have 72 locks. And then I'm gonna count them at the end to show you how many locks I now have after combining. So let's go ahead and get into the combination. So the first two locks I'm deciding to combine are on the middle left side of my head, and these were probably two of the thinnest locks in my head. So I didn't have a crochet needle at the time, thought I did, so I'll just do it with my hands. I'm gonna split one lock in half at the roots and then pull the other lock through to the other side so that I can combine them at the roots. This is exactly what I would do with a crochet needle, just did it with my hands. So now that they're combined, I'm going to start twisting them together, two-strand twisting. When I do twist them together, I turn my hand inward so that the twist can be tighter wrapped around each other. So this is how I twist most of the time. This is how I started my locks, with two-strand twists, but I'm going to show you what happens if you don't turn your hands inward as you're twisting. The twist is actually a lot looser. So this is actually how most people would twist. They don't turn their hands inward, so the twist isn't just as tight. It makes it easier to combine when the twist is tighter, but you know, not too much tension on the roots especially. So when I twist or turn my hand inward in the direction that the twist is going. So as I wrap the twists around, I actually turn my hand each time that I twist. After I have twisted all the way to the end, I put a knot in the thread. Doesn't matter if you single knot or double knot. Then I pull the thread through the needle, and then I start from the bottom so the twist doesn't unravel while I'm threading it through. So I try to press the needle through both sides of the twist. Since I want these two locks to become one, I'll try to make sure the needle punctures both locks each time I thread the needle through. Whichever end that the thread comes out of, I try to put the thread back in through that same side of the lock. So I'll press it through one side, it goes through the other side like this, and then when I press the needle back through, I'll press it through that same side of the lock so that the thread doesn't show through. I'll continue sewing or threading until I get to the top of the combined lock, but I'll leave probably maybe half an inch between the root, the start of the twist, and where the thread stops, so I won't go like all the way up. After I'm done threading the entire lock, I'll tie a knot at the end of the thread to secure it, and then I'll cut off any excess thread that I see throughout the lock. And this is the end result of the first lock that I've combined today. Compared to my other two locks that I combined, this is much better, and I've learned from this method. I think it really works for me. So I'm gonna combine 6 more locks on my head into 3 locks. This is the next one, and I'll do the same exact thing. So I'll just kind of like speed it up so you can see. Some of the thread didn't get cut off properly from this one, so I just kind of left it like it was, palm rolled it to see if the thread would blend in, and it did. So this is the result of the second one. Now I'm gonna do 2 more on my whole head. And for this next one lock was shorter than the other, so I started the thread higher up on the lock, maybe about 1.5 inches up, instead of all the way at the bottom, because it just wasn't necessary. I combined 8 locks into now 4 locks. On the left side of my head, these 2 locks into 1 lock. In the very back of my head, these 2 locks here. On the right side, these 2 locks. Now these were not the same length, so I started threading maybe about here, and you can see the shorter lock kind of like sticking out right here, the end of it. And I believe I palm rolled this one. You saw me do that. Lastly, I combined this one, and the shorter lock started right here. So that right here is where I started threading. I palm rolled this one as well. So one thing that I learned from the combination videos that I've seen of like other people combining their locks with so many different methods is that the more mature your locks are, the harder it will be for the combination to look seamless. And what I thought was that even though my locks are pretty mature at the ends, they still kept, a lot of them, mostly of them actually, still kept the two-strand twist pattern, especially in the back. Most of my locks are still kind of like bumpy and stuff. And that is because I never really palm rolled my locks. Even when I did used to retwist, I don't anymore, but even when I did used to retwist way back in the beginning of my journey, I'm 2 years in now, by the way, but maybe in the first like 6 months of my journey, I've retwisted a couple times, maybe 4 to 5 times in the first 6 months that I had my locks. After that, I stopped retwisting. I just semi-freeform. I feel like if I did palm roll, they would look more cylindrical, and that probably would have made the now combined locks stand out a little bit more. However, if I place one of my combined locks, like this one, next to one of my non-combined locks, like this one right here, it doesn't really stand out as much. And I feel like even though my hair is pretty mature throughout the ends, the combined method that I did, they'll probably look like one lock eventually, probably within the next couple months. So now I should have 68 locks, but I'm gonna count them on camera just so I can make sure. $35 so far on this side. If I miscounted, let me know. That is 68 locks. I had 72 before this little project, and now I have 68. That's my new lock count. Continue to follow me on my journey if you want to. Make sure to subscribe. I'm actually gonna come back probably later on today to show you my hair after my maintenance routine. So all these fuzzy pieces that you see, I'm gonna go ahead and it's a lot of fuzzy pieces because I haven't done my maintenance since January, and it's now February 8th. So once I wash my hair, do my braid in method, and then also while my hair is wet, I'm gonna palm roll all the locks that I combine, and I'm gonna just see how they look after that. After they're like wet and malleable, I can palm roll them, see what difference that makes. I'll probably do that every wash day. I'll probably just palm roll my combined locks so that it will look more seamless and maybe it'll help it lock faster. All right, before I go any further, a lot of you all have been reaching out to me personally, telling me how much you enjoy my content here on this channel and how it has helped you get into a deeper mind, body, and spirit connection. But there's something missing. I have now curated this great experience for you all that I would love to share with you. My business, Holistic Fit Meditation, is geared towards those who want to deepen their practice and their mind, body, and spirit connection, live a more holistically fit life, and have overall less stress and more joy in life. To get clear about what you want and how to move forward with your goals without the obstacles in your way built by mental fear and mental obstruction. When you become a member, you get access to new instructional content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, yoga videos, live guided meditation sessions, live stream community Q&As and wellness talks monthly with me, and also bonus exclusive instructional videos to help deepen your journey, very beginner friendly, and includes the uses of props, modified poses to make it more inclusive for all body shapes and sizes. So to get that access for you all, the link is in my description. It will take you straight to the membership page, or you can just go to my website, www.holistifitmeditation.com. And I hope to see you practicing with me soon.